Hello, BookTube. I have another mail haul to go through. As you can see from the immediate background here, when I'm sort of stationed in this little book room as opposed to in the outside room, I tend to do this. I tend to just let the book acquisitions pile up until Sunday, and then I just deal with them. And the result is that these towers just build, and it's currently Friday, so they're getting worse, and I just have books to add to those piles. So I thought we'd go through them together and see what kind of fun we can have. Yesterday was fun. We'll see what today will bring. We'll start with this little one here. Could be a slim volume of poetry. Oh no, it's not. It's a novel. It's a novel from HarperCollins. It comes out in February of next year. Wow. Okay, but it comes out, even though it comes out where it's so far ahead, it's still going to be a paperback. It's Atomic City Girls by Janet Beard. In November 1944, 18-year-old June Walker boards an unmarked bus destined for a city that doesn't officially exist. You must know this story. Oak Ridge, Tennessee has sprung up in a matter of months, a town of trailers and segregated houses, 24-hour cafeterias, and constant security checks. There, June joins hundreds of other young girls operating massive machines whose purpose is never explained. They know they are helping to win the war, but must ask no questions and reveal nothing to outsiders. And this is, of course, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. This is the pioneering groundwork research for the bomb. For the Manhattan Project. And this will be a novel. Oh, look at this. Okay, so it's a novelization of that, but it has pictures. There was just recently an absolutely fantastic nonfiction book on this same subject. But it's one of those instances where it will be very difficult for this novel, with all the advantages that fiction has, to equal, much less surpass, that account. It'll just be basically a companion thing. It'll be in case you love the story and want more of it. And I will try to remember to leave a link to my review of that nonfiction book down below. It's a thing that I've been sliding on terribly, and I mean to get better at it, and that is annotating my own BookTube videos. So I will try to remember to do that. In the meantime, let's move on to this next one. What is this? What is this? Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, my. All right. Well, I didn't see this. I didn't request this, but fantastic. This is by Jacqueline Jones, and it is Goddess of Anarchy, The Life and Times of Lucy Parsons, American Radical, from the folks at Basic Books. So this comes out in early December. Wow. There hasn't been a Lucy Parsons. Wow. There hasn't been a biography of this person in a long time, as far as I can remember. Despite living much of her long life in the public eye, radical labor agitator Lucy Parsons has nevertheless remained shrouded in mystery, skilled in the art of rhetorical provocation in the service of justice for the laboring classes. She had also offered up a fiction about her origins and denied key elements of her own past. In this book, award-winning historian Jacqueline Jones presents not only the exceptional life of the famous American-born anarchist, but also an authoritative account of her times, from slavery through the Great Depression. She presented herself as a champion of the laboring classes, settled in the neighborhood of German immigrants, and ignored the plight of African Americans. She concocted a false identity for herself, claiming to be the daughter of Mexican and Indian parents in an effort to deny her African heritage. Okay, and Jacqueline Jones won the Bancroft Prize, so she's no piker at this sort of thing. And it sounds like the best kind of biography. It sounds like she's going to dig in to the myths that her subject herself created about her life. Those are always fascinating. Fantastic. Wow, biography that I didn't know existed. Gotta love that. All right, let's move on. What have we got here? Okay, did not request this. This is from 7th Street Books. This is probably a murder mystery. What have we got here? This comes out in paperback in mid-November. So we've got a couple of paperback releases here. This is The Woman in the Camphor Trunk by Jennifer Kincheloe, and it is an Anna Blank mystery. All of that is Greek to me. It's set in Los Angeles of 1908. In Chinatown, the most dangerous beat in Los Angeles, police matron Anna Blank and her former boyfriend, Detective Joe Singer, discover the body of a white missionary woman stuffed in a trunk in the apartment of her Chinese lover. Her lover has fled. If news gets out that a white woman was murdered in Chinatown, there will be a violent backlash against the Chinese. Joe and Anna plan to solve the crime quietly and keep the death a secret. So does good-looking Mr. Jones, a prominent Chinese leader who has mixed feelings about helping the LAPD and about Anna. Huh. Okay. So Gold Rush, the Gold Rush West, the turn of the century West. Okay, historical murder mystery. Wow, these are things that are on my beat. I should know about these. I should be learning about them when I open them in the mail. And yet it's happened, 3 times so far. 2 historical novels and 1 biography that I should know about. And oh God. Okay, well, you're not going to get a repeat of the rant for this one. Although this is also a paperback original, if I remember correctly. Yeah, wow, we're getting a lot of paperback originals. This is the finished copy of John Haskell's The Complete Ballet, a fictional essay in 5 acts. I've already ranted about the subtitle, and I haven't actually got to the book, so I don't have anything to report about whether or not it's any good. Let's move on to this next one here. Okay. A little asbestos for my day. Let's get this as far away as possible. So what do we got here? This is from Chelsea Green Publications. It's called Fasting and Feasting, The Life of Visionary Food Writer Patience Gray by Adam Fetterman. I'm not sure I would completely trust the expertise of a legendary food writer who looked like that, but maybe that's not her. I want my legendary food writers to look like Elizabeth David. Thank you very much. Meet Patience Gray, the most important food writer you've never read. For more than 30 years, she lived in a remote area of Puglia in southernmost Italy. Living far off the beaten path and without electricity, modern plumbing, or a telephone, she grew much of her own food, gathered and ate wild plants, and wrote her seminal and staggeringly beautiful cookbook, Honey from a Weed. This simple, isolated life may help explain her relative obscurity compared to other great food writers of her time, such as Elizabeth David, Julia Child, and M.K. Fisher. When Gray died in 2005, the BBC described her as an almost forgotten culinary star. Yet her influence, particularly among chefs and other food writers, has had a lasting and profound effect on the way we view and celebrate good food and regional cuisines. Her prescience was unrivaled. She wrote about what today we call the slow food movement, from foraging to eating locally, long before it became part of the cultural mainstream. If she's who we have to blame for the foraging foodie movement, she has much to answer for in the afterlife. But anyway, so this is a biography of her. This is not the book that we were just told about. I wonder if Chelsea Green is doing a reprint of Honey from a Weed. Oh, fantastic! I'm always up for food writing, even if this sounds like it'll be decidedly unconventional food writing. I'm always up for that. Although I'm sure that the book will pull a little at the continuous undercurrent of guilt that I have about not teaching myself how to garden. I have a few little patches of ground right around this house that are perfectly fine for gardening, and it's August, of course, so I'm not going to do anything now, but every time I look at them just running wild, I think, what if you grew something there? What if you grew peas? Or a little corn? Something like that. How hard could that be? Maybe it would introduce me to the mind frame of gardening that I love so much in other people. But I have yet to make myself do it. It's just, it requires pants. Anyway, let's move on. After all, I went through the misery of pants today. I went out on errands today, long pants, when Boston was 90 degrees with 90% humidity. So you'd think I could stand to grow my own vegetables. Let's see here. Oh, okay. This is a novel it's by Darren Wang, and it's called The Hidden Light of Northern Fires. I guess because the mountain of my misgivings was taken. uh, this is his debut novel. And it says, the pub sheet says that when he was writing the book, he wanted the story to hit close to home, literally. After hearing and researching odd snippets of history about his hometown, Wang discovered that the house in which he grew up was in fact a converted barn, once part of the Underground Railroad. Don't believe it for a minute. I don't believe it for a minute. The little hamlet where it was located, Town Line, New York, actually seceded from the Union and did not rejoin until 1946. Piecing together stories about the region, including the life of the real Underground Railroad woman Mary Willis, inspired his compelling first novel about a woman who must risk her whole world in order to stand up for what she believes in. Okay. All right. So this is his debut novel. He is the executive director of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution Decatur Book Festival, the largest independent book festival in the country. And before that, he had a 20-year career in public radio. And the advanced blurbs for this book, there are 30 of them. Kirkus, Booklist, Library Journal, Ron Rash, Sarah Gruen, Robert Hicks, Jocelyn Jackson, Mark Childress, Thomas Mullen, Connie Mae Fowler. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. That's just incredible. Okay. All right. So another historical novel. This time a debut. Then we've got one of these vacuum packed things. Pretty much, you have to tear them apart in order to open them. The inside is corrugated, so even once you've torn an opening, you can't slide the book out because the corrugation is holding it. You have to sort of tear apart the whole package until the book falls out, in which case you're left with, bomb debris that you have to then dispose of. Ridiculous. Okay, I don't know this at all. Oh, goodness gracious. What a hit or miss mail haul this is. This is called Playing Hurt, My Journey from Despair to Hope by John Saunders. I presume that's him on the cover. For nearly 30 years until his death on August 10th of last year, sport broadcaster John Saunders was known to millions of Americans as the face of college football and the arbiter of thoughtful sports journalism on ESPN's The Sports Reporters. What the public didn't know was that for most of his life he'd been struggling with chronic depression, an illness that has long been surrounded by misinformation and stigma. And Playing Hurt is his autobiography with help from John U. Bacon as a ghostwriter. Okay, so this is out already. I wonder why. Who is this? I wonder. Da Capo Press. They like me and I like them. I was going to ask. Well, I wonder why I was sent this, but that's probably the reason. I'm probably on a couple of their lists. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's move on here. This is the last one. This is the box. What have we got here? Oh, okay. All right. This is a finished copy of The Resurrection of Joan Ashby. I think we saw this. This is by Charisse Wallace, and it is another debut novel. And I think we saw the advance copy of this. Very eye-catching cover, prismatic cover. And this has blurbs from Kirkus and Booklist and A.M. Holmes. In this audacious, dazzling debut novel that is already drawing comparisons to Lauren Groff's Fates and Furies and John Irving's The World According to Garp, the author charts one woman's struggle to balance the demands of motherhood with her flourishing career as a writer, and how one unthinkable betrayal disturbs the whole balance. I remember reading the advance of this and just thinking that the downtrodden woman writer who has to make a compromise between her career and her family felt a little ginned up from the 1950s, if then. But I confess, I've heard, aside from these blurbs, I've heard nothing but positive things about this book, and I haven't got to it. So this is sort of a kick in the pants to do that, because it's the end of the month. If I'm going to write about it, I should read it and cogitate on it. So there you go. That is a hit or miss mail haul. This is The Resurrection of Joan Ashby, Playing Hurt, the posthumous memoir of John Saunders, The Hidden Light of Northern Fires, a historical novel, another debut. Then Fasting and Feasting, a book about Patience Gray, food writer who's a contemporary of writers whom I absolutely love. Then The Complete Ballet in a finished copy. Then The Woman in the Camphor Trunk, a historical murder mystery. Then The Goddess of Anarchy. Lucy Parsons gets a big biography. And last, The Atomic City Girls, a novel about the girls, the women really, who did pioneering, totally clandestine work in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. That's fascinating. I wonder what the book could bring to bear that the great history didn't do. But I'll read it and find out. So, all right, very good. I'll wrap up for now. I've got a lot more stuff I want to talk to you about, so I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.